Greetings, traveller. Come in and take a seat by the fire. Today we will be weaving a tale together. A tale of war and sacrifice, the ending of an era and the dawning of a new age, brought screaming into the world on the edge of a blade. The Siege of the Elderkeep. Part 1. The horns shake you from your slumber, snapping your eyes open and wrenching you into wakefulness. Around you, the other soldiers in your squad are rising, some pawing at weary eyes as others, more alert, are already pulling on helmets over their padded coifs. Like all of them, you have slept in the quilted underarmour, knowing this moment would be inevitable, and it takes you only a moment to snatch your own helm from the top of your trunk and slam it onto your head, fumbling with the chin strap. You glance to the side, where Grandon Calix stands, holding out a spear for you. You've known each other since you were children, and although his features are now haggard and bearded, you still note the glint of fear in his eyes. It's a feeling you share, although both of you hide it well. The horn sounds again, strident and ominous. The door of the barracks slams open as your sergeant, somehow already clad in partial plate and chain, enters the room like a fox entering a chicken coop. "Boots and blades, maggots!" he bellows, catching a disoriented grunt by the scruff of his neck and heaving him towards the weapon rack by the door. "The hour is finally at hand." You take the proffered spear and fall in by your cot, snapping to attention more from habit than conscious thought. Grandon does the same. Months of training replacing fear of the enemy with fear of the sergeant. Had you the time, you might have considered just how dehumanizing that instinct is. But there is no chance to dwell on such things. Already the stragglers are falling into place, harangued there by a superior officer now growing red-faced from roaring. Outside, shouts of alarm are beginning to spread through the fortress. With a single barked syllable, your squad is quick-marched from the barracks and out into the dreary morning light. Bruised clouds bunch up overhead, promising a day of drizzle and misery. You know your section, of course. The route from barracks to wall is as drilled into you as the sparring practice you've suffered through every day since you got here. Above you, towering over the fortress like a great granite sentinel, rises the Elderkeep. Squat and immovable, it perches on a central hill overlooking the countryside for miles around. Ancient, impregnable, alone. "Move it, maggots!" The sergeant shakes you from your reflection, as is his way. "Move it, move it, move it!" You begin the customary soldier's trot, adding your own sound to the cacophony of clattering armour and weaponry. Other squads are on the move around you, similarly goaded on by their own red-faced superiors. Ahead, the walls rise to blot out the fields beyond. You take a left, cutting toward the base of the nearest tower, squeezing through the doors and beginning to slog up the stairs. Above, you hear the ratcheting of crossbows as those at the peak of the tower prepare themselves for the day's bloody business. You file out onto the wall, feeling the cool breeze against your face as you take up your position. Grandon settles into place beside you, and together you look out over the expansive fields that stretch out from the foot of the wall. Below, spread out as far as the eye can see, stands your enemy. And there are so many of them. A carpet of dark metal, bristling with spear tips. An ocean of rage and violence, intent on washing over the defences. orcs. Thousands of them, tens of thousands. Certainly too many to count. The walls, which had seemed so massive only moments ago, suddenly feel paper-thin and fragile in the face of such a force. Dotted here and there, you can see huge constructs of wood and metal. Some things you don't recognize, covered in wicked spikes, while others are more conventional. Mangonels, trebuchets, rams, towers. They have come prepared, it seems. All the training in the world cannot prepare you for what comes next. The quiet that now settles over the two armies, eyeing each other over open ground. The last of the defenders are in place. The horde below are mustered. The world holds its breath. The lines below part, revealing a beast unlike any you have ever seen. A demon, or perhaps some hellish beast from beyond the sea. Its coal-black skin is webbed with scars. Its eyes, even from here on the wall, glint with malice. It stands a head taller than the orcish warriors around it, even though it is hunched over. Fists as large as a man's head grip a pair of crudely fashioned swords, each of which a knight would struggle to lift. Patches of stony growth ridge its brow and forearms. "Troll," Grandin mutters in awe. "That's a bloody troll." "Silence in the ranks," the sergeant growls from behind you, stiffening resolve as the massive thing bellows out a challenge in its bestial tongue. And there, in front of the wall, you see her. The champion. Striding out from the gate, poleaxe held to one side, its blade nearly brushing the yellow grass. Polished helm, glinting in the rising sun. She walks with purpose, eyes fixed on the creature before her, which snorts and shakes its head, its breath misting in the cool air. The champion does not falter, does not hesitate, does not slow. She speeds up. From stride to jog, and then on to a full charge, plated feet pounding the earth. The beast moves in response with another bellow. The creature hefts its weapons and launches itself forwards. They close the distance, fast, and collide with a ringing clash that makes your eyes water. A flurry of blows follows, glittering poleaxe and slab-like sword weaving around each other. The champion's blade sweeps up and around, swatting one of the creature's blades aside, leaving a glittering afterimage in your vision. A cheer ripples along the wall as the sword is thrown out of the beast's grip to skitter to a stop in the grass. But the champion does not pause, pressing her attack with silent ferocity. You feel your heart beat in time with her attacks, and you can almost feel the jarring vibrations in your own arms as she delivers strike, counter-strike, riposte. She jabs, forcing her opponent to lurch back, but it responds fast. Too fast. As the poleaxe comes down, a scarred hand catches it by the haft, and then, with an almost casual motion, the beast wrenches the weapon over its shoulder, sending the champion sailing through the air. She hits the ground, hard, and the cheers die in your throat. The beast's gaze wanders across the top of the wall, and it leers, flashing its yellowing fangs before turning back towards its victim. The champion has struggled to her elbows now, her armor dented by the impact with the ground. You can make out a thin strip of crimson leaking from her visor, before she is obscured behind the looming bulk of that hellish brute now towering over her. You see its fist rise, black blade in hand, and you know it is over. A sharp crack rings out across the battlements, and a dark blur streaks out from the tower to your left. You barely have time to register what has happened before the ballista bolt slams home, almost seeming to sprout from the beast's rocky hide. It staggers, emitting a low moan as the blade slips from its fingers. Shock ripples through the army arrayed below as the creature staggers sideways, clawed fingers grasping at its back, and then a second bolt slams home from another tower closer to the gate. The beast crumples, sending up a small cloud of dust as it hits the earth. A sudden roar of rage bubbles up from below as the champion rises unsteadily to her feet, leaning on her poleaxe as she looks up towards the walls and then raises her free fist in a defiant salute. It is clear enough to all that she will not make it back to the gate. Such was never truly an option. She serves instead as a sacrificial lamb, a goading strike to draw the honor-blinded orcs to their doom. Your commanders know the value of such a trade. One life for many. After all, what place has honor in war? The plan works. Far from the organized bombardment and cautious advance, your enemy is incensed. In a disorganized mass, they charge, heedless of the horrendous toll as the defenders begin to loose regimented volleys into the advancing tide. Rank upon rank of the orcs tumble, thrown from their feet by projectiles as they scramble to lay blade to their dishonorable foe. And your champion seems so small now, standing unsteadily by the fallen beast, her shoulders heaving with effort as the army behind her rushes forwards headlong. You watch as she steadies herself, hefting her weapon and turning to face the onrushing doom as volleys of arrow and bolt scythe into the enemy. Even beneath the withering fire, they reach her within moments. And you see the poleaxe rise and fall only once, before the weight of numbers overruns her and she disappears amidst the wave of snarling, mottled-skinned faces. And on they come, throwing themselves towards the huge gates and into the ditch which runs the length of the wall. You know, as does every man and woman on the walls, that this one-sided exchange will not last. Already the throwing limbs of siege engines are being cranked into place below. The gambit has earned the defenders a solid wage in blood, but it was never going to be enough to stem the tide completely. The horn sounds again, and you brace yourself for the battle to come. Thank you for listening. This has been the first part of a larger journey, in more ways than one, and the Siege of the Elderkeep will continue in the future, alongside other tales which will explore the wider setting. If you have enjoyed this beginning, please consider commenting below with any suggestions, constructive feedback, or a desired subject or direction for future tales. Tell me what you thought, how you felt, and what you want to see next. But for now, until we meet again, traveller, farewell and safe travels.